So getting back to the basics of planted aquarium. So what are the basics of planted aquarium? But first of all, before I get into that, I want to throw something out first. This is all about the fully planted system. So if you are keeping just certain hardy plants like moss, fern or nana, some of the information here might not apply to your aquarium. So anyway, with that being said, let's get into the content. So to put the plant in the aquarium, first of all, you might want to know that the plants that we have in our planted tank, you can't find those on the river and lake. So that's why certain conditions have to be met for them to survive in the aquarium. Let me put it this way: for an organism to survive in artificial or alien environment, there's a few requirements. Let's say if I throw you into new place, what would it take for you to survive? If let's say for instance, if I throw you into a desert, what's the first thing you're gonna do? Are you gonna look for food or what else? I'm pretty sure the only way for you to survive, the first thing that comes to your mind is to seek shelter because the heat is too much for you. Same for if you went to some place that's too cold, you will want to find warmth to keep your body temperature regulated, or else you will get hypothermia. So let's go for the same for the plants. For them to survive, to not die, they need to be in proper temperature. So if you couldn't provide the proper temperature for them, no need to think for food source or anything else because you won't even gonna survive anyway. And for planted tank, I would suggest somewhere around 26 degrees Celsius, which should somewhere around that region would be good enough for them. They have a few degrees tolerance. So when you get the right temperature for the plants, second thing, what we want to do when you are in a new environment and when you can survive there, and maybe you're gonna look for food. Luckily for plants, it doesn't really need to hunt, so they get their food from a process called photosynthesis, where they utilize the power of the sun to make. Okay, sorry for interruptions. Where was I? The food plants use sunlight to make sugar from carbon dioxide. That's what you're going to provide for them, sunlight and also carbon dioxide. So that goes without saying, you will need to have a proper lighting for your plant tank. Before the age of LED, it was a bit more simpler. We just need to make sure we have enough voltage. That's when we use for horizon light. So back then we just need to make sure that it's around 1 watts of electricity for the lights per gallon of water. But back then the problem with horizon light is that they emit heat, and heat is something of a challenge in Malaysia. So and then the second thing is that the tube have to be changed every 6 months. And now comes the age of LEDs, where it doesn't emit heat into the aquarium and they also last longer. But there's a minor problem with LED. The full spectrum LED, they have low power ratings. It's a measurement of radiation that can be utilized as for photosynthesis. So you can have a bright LEDs, but not much of the light can be utilized by plants for their photosynthesis. So you'll be wasting energy. The plants won't grow well, and also it will cause algae to grow. So for that, you might want to look for true planted tank LEDs lighting system that have higher power ratings. And let's come to carbon dioxide. Providing carbon dioxide to the aquarium, it's very direct and simple, but there's a lot of options out there. That some of them it's just isn't going to work. For instance, the carbon dioxide tablet, they aren't going to be able to sustain your plants. They're using chemical reactions when the tablet touches water to produce carbon dioxide, but the carbon dioxide produced is in a short burst, so it won't last in the water long enough for the plants to use. And the second one, which is also quite popular, is by using liquid carbon. The product liquid carbon is actually meant to be used as additive, an extra source of carbon for your plants, but not a product to simply replace the carbon dioxide system. So it's not going to work if you're only using liquid carbon itself. the only two way to properly provide carbon dioxide for a planter tank is either you get a CO2 gas cylinder and have a diffuser to diffuse the gas. That one will cost a bit more, and that's a cheaper option. Is if you don't want to spend the money, you can actually use yeast. You can find the formula online. Then how to do it is actually quite simple. We just cultivate yeast in a container with water and sugar. So when the yeast feed on sugar, they will produce carbon dioxide, and it will channel into your aquarium, and it have to be diffused afterward into aquarium. And if you're doing that, please don't use normal diffuser that's been used for cylinder system, because the pressure is not high enough for the yeast system to break through the ceramic diffuser. So yeah, that's the only two options that you can use. There's no need to think about any other way, because there's only two. If you can't do any of it, if you can't spend the time on making carbon dioxide yourself with yeast, you have to spend the money. If you don't want to do both, you have to forget about it. That's that simple. And now we get the food out of the questions. The third thing, what's the most important thing now for life form to survive in an artificial or alien condition? We got the perfect condition, the temperature for us to survive, and assuming that we have the proper basic needs like oxygen and everything, we get food. And the third thing, I would come to pollution. We don't want a lot of pollutions in our place, or else we won't be able to thrive or last long. Let's go for the same as plants as well. So if your aquarium is polluted, they are not going to be doing well. They may not die, but they are not going to be thriving. They are not going to look like, they might be like have algae caught on them and all sort of thing. It just doesn't look nice when there's pollution. Same as human. When we live in a clean country, our skin, everything look nicer. When we live in a country with a lot of pollution, we get a lot of problems. So where does the pollution came from? Actually, it came from us when we feed our fish. So yeah, the fish food that we put inside the aquarium, it's one of the source of pollution. So our filtration system actually do part of the work to keep the tank as clean as possible, like removing ammonia, turn them into nitrates, and also our carbon tend to absorb a bit of unwanted chemicals, but it doesn't remove all. That's not all that's in the aquarium. There's some minor pollution that's not harmful for fish, but it's not good when it's too much in the water for the plants. So those things is fish food that we put inside there. So if you have too many fish in the aquarium, you are going to have to feed them, or else they will starve to death. So when you overpopulate it, you have to overfeed them. Your plant is not going to look good. And if you just have a small amount of fish but you feed them often, your fish is like fat, obese, then your plant is not gonna grow. If you're worried about your fish being hungry, I suggest maybe you try small quantity but multiple feeding times. That's very important, because this is the main problem for most of my customers, the overfeeding parts, overpopulation thing. So now that we got our perfect condition to not die, the proper temperature, we get our food source, we get a perfect environment with no pollutions. What else do we need? Maybe some supplements, so you can get some nutrients, fertilizer for your plants. The basic one is like potassium, iron, and trace elements. But the key to that is not overdoing it. Like everything else, too much of something, it's bad. If you're cooking, too much salt, it's not gonna taste good. If you are making coffee, too much coffee is not gonna be good. Anything, if you're having supplement, even for a human and you're taking supplement, if you take too much, it's not gonna be good for your health. Please also keep in mind that if you're using aquatic soil for your plants, the soils already have they already have nutrients inside there. So for the beginning of the new tank, you might not need to add any nutrients for them at all. Usually I would judge by myself, see when, let's say something is you notice that when you started with soil, the plants just grow well even without fertilizer. And to a certain point, given that everything's it's doing correctly, you have a proper lighting and everything, and the feeding part is also done very well. There will be a point where we found that the plants might not be growing as fast as they used to. So that's when that point comes, you will need to slowly introduce fertilizer for them. It will be sooner. The fertilizer might be more important if you are using substrate like the CHM fluoride, and also if you are using reverse osmosis water, especially with reverse osmosis water, putting trace element and all inside there is very important. Yeah, I don't think that's a major concern with fertilizer, as long as there's some. And actually, the most of the problem came from overdosing your plants with fertilizer. Because when people see some problem with your tank, the first thing they think of is getting fertilizer for their aquarium without checking the temperature, without checking if they do water changes at all. All those things they just ignore, and they just come into conclusion that they need to buy some fertilizer, put in the tank, and it will make their aquarium healthy again. Why? Maybe they're lazy. Just spend some money, a small amount of money, and somehow they expect it's gonna work. It's not gonna be that easy. It's actually, most of the time, it's actually the human part itself. Normally when it's come to equipment that will cause the plants to not growing so well, it's some major equipments like the temperature or the lighting, that where you need to spend a lot. If it's just some fertilizer, normally it doesn't cause the plants to just die. Maybe they just doesn't grow that well only. That's the only downside to not having enough fertilizer in your tank. Yeah, I think that's about it. I just reached my shop already. I gotta get down. Yeah, you might notice I didn't mention anything about the substrate, because I started doing planted tank when we doesn't have a substrate at all. They haven't been invented yet. We were using just riverbeds, pebbles, and silicate sand as base. And with that, even with that, we are able to have a proper planted aquarium. So soil is actually not as important as you all might think. I think many people would think that the first thing they need to buy is a soil, and then they will go on to get the carbon dioxide later on, which is wrong. If you have soil without carbon dioxide, your plants are not going to grow. If you have carbon dioxide without the soil, your plants might still be able to grow. Yeah, that's about it. Let's see, if I miss anything, I will have to put it into the description or in my blog, or you can just leave a comment to ask for further information. And it's starting to rain. If I don't get out now, I might not be able to enter my shop. So yeah, that's all for now. If you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, and everything. Yo, bye.